session, and I am CJ, and I'm going to be taking you through the following currency pairs. We're going to be starting off with the dollar index, which is an indices that measures what other dollar related, whether dominated or quoted currencies are doing. And then we're going to move over to Euro USD, which is like one of the most traded assets. And then we're going to now move to GBP USD. Afterwards, we're going to go on a very short break, about 30 to 40 seconds break. And when we return, we're going to now analyze gold against the dollar. And then we're going to look at the yen and also other yen-related pairs, all right? So before we continue, there is something we usually do, kind of an exercise before we start off our market color for the day. We want you to share the link to this market color with as many people as possible, whether your friends, your family, your acquaintances, your fellow traders, and then you can also share it to any group that you know is Forex related. So share it during this period of this short break. And after sharing it, we're going to proceed with the market color. So the link is right there in the chat box. Share it so that everyone who should be a part of what we're doing here would enjoy as you are also enjoying. So share the link quickly, and we're going to proceed with the analysis for today. Okay, welcome back. So we're going to be starting off. Let's look at some fundamental news releases we're expecting for this week as we proceed into the technical analysis. Now we're expecting that there is a bank holiday for today because in places like in UK and then in Japan, we're going to be experiencing bank holiday. So we may see lesser volumes in trading in terms of other GBP related pairs. And the reason for this bank holiday is early May bank holiday. Usually in Nigeria, we do not observe that. We just observe the Labor Day on 1st of May, but theirs is extended into today. But we all know that banks facilitate most of the moves and they inject most of the liquidity we see in the market. So for today's London session, I'm expecting a quiet GBP and also a volatile GBP at the same time. Some of you will be wondering, what do I mean by a quiet GBP and a volatile GBP? We may see GBP not moving in a clear direction and it may be volatile at the same time. Okay, so we're expecting erratic movement because it's usually retailers who are in the market, the big banks and big institutions in the UK who should be trading larger volumes during this period are on holiday. So we're expecting retailers to be in the market, manipulating the market, moving the market as they decide to, based on the volume that they accommodate. So we're expecting that from GBP. So I'll be looking forward to seeing what New York is going to do on GBP USD and other GBP related pairs. All right, and then for the week, we're expecting cash rate policies to be released for the Australian dollar later tomorrow. So we have Abigail, who is sitting on commodity currency. She's going to analyze that tomorrow. For Wednesday, we have less volatile news or low impact news. We only have 10-year bond auction. We're expecting to see moves on USDJPY on that day. That is the 8th of May for Wednesday this week. So we're expecting to see moves on USDJPY because of this 10-year bond auction. So we do not usually discuss fixed income here, so we may not have to overanalyze that. Just have it in mind, we expect moves. And then on Thursday around 12 p.m., we're going to be expecting the monetary rate or the interest rate for GBP. Based on previous reports, we've seen their interest rate around 5.25%, and we expect that they will do just like their counterparts in the US and in other countries where they left interest rates flat for this month. So we're expecting the same thing for the Great British Pound. Governor Bailey is going to be speaking immediately after that. So we're expecting a flat GBP interest rate. And then the main bond auction for the 30-year bond is going to be coming up on Thursday. All right. So people are going to be buying up bonds. So we're going to be seeing what that's going to, the impact of that on US bonds and also USDJPY especially. All right. And then we're going to be seeing GDP for the UK on Friday. And then we're going to be wrapping it up with University of Michigan consumer sentiment on Friday. Also, we have unemployment rates for Canadian dollar. So be on the lookout for these news releases and we'll see how that is going to impact the currency pairs you are trading. And quickly, we're going to be looking at sentiment using FinViz, because it's one of the easiest way to explain sentiment across board. Looking at FinViz, we're seeing that there is safe haven dump, right? There is safe haven dump in the market currently, and it's showing some signs of risk on based on what happened last week into this week. We're seeing currency pairs like JPY, we're seeing currency like JPY, CHF, and USD. These three currencies are termed safe haven assets. So when investors want to play safe, or when they want to invest in a safe manner, they don't want erratic movement, they usually go to USD, CHF, and JPY. Now we're seeing that there is a dump of safe haven assets, and we're seeing that risk assets are beginning to rally. Risk assets like AUD, NZD, and Canadian dollar, they are beginning to rally. All right, so we're expecting that there's going to be possibly some risk on play into the first half of this week, and then maybe by Wednesday we're going to reanalyze it and see if that play is continuing. But for today, we're seeing a risk on play for the week on week. Now, based on the intraday, the same thing is playing out. We're seeing JPY as the weakest, dropping about 0.54% against the dollar, and then we're seeing CHF dropping minus 0.05% against the dollar. We're seeing GBP, AUD rising 0.23% against the dollar as the most preferred this morning. And we're seeing GBP quietly following it alongside NZD and Canadian dollar. So we're expecting risk on play for today London session. So what this implies is that we're going to be seeing buys, or we're going to be seeing rallies on currency pairs like AUD USD, GBP USD, NZD USD, Euro USD. We're going to be seeing sell-off on currency pairs like USD CAD. Right, so after doing all this, we move straight into the chart, knowing what we're expecting to see. Now let's start off with the dollar index. Now we had some points of interest for the dollar index in the previous week. Okay, now if you look at the chart, now we have to slow down so that we can analyze the chart properly. Now looking at the chart based on the last swing, all right, this is the swing low and this is the swing high. We drew out this line right here. We said we're expecting the dollar index to retrace into this region, which is around 78.6, and this whole fair value gap, about 50% of this fair value gap. 50% of this fair value gap is somewhere around here. So we're expecting the dollar index to trade into it. So we drew this rectangle right here on the daily time frame. Now, seeing that the dollar index has retraced into this level, on the long term, we're expecting a resumption of the weekly buy trend. Now, looking at the weekly trend, we're seeing how that the weekly trend has been bullish all through the beginning of this year into this month. So we saw this sharp retracement to the downside. We're expecting a continuation to the upside. However, because of what we're seeing on sentiment, we're not going to just rush and enter into a buy on the dollar. We're going to be waiting for confirmatory entry signatures using our technical analysis, price action, and confluences as you have it. So moving on to the 4-hour time frame for the dollar index, I would want to specifically see change of character and break of structure on 1-hour time frame and 4-hour time frame before I start going long on the dollar, because it still has tendencies to trade further downwards before trading to the upside. But seeing this rejection, I'm expecting the dollar index to range around this whole range. I'm expecting consolidation around this range before price starts expanding to the upside. Okay, so I'm expecting a range around here between 105.085 to 104.500 level. So I'm expecting the dollar index to range around that level. When we now see a breakout and shows us sign of clarity, we'll now be willing to go long on the dollar index. But overall, based on the weekly and the daily time frame, I'm bullish on the dollar index. However, when we say we are bullish, it doesn't mean we are entering at the moment. We are bullish because our bias has shown us based on the things we are expecting to see play out. Now, where are we going to now enter the dollar index buy from? So I'll be expecting on the 1-hour time frame to see some minor structure to form. Currently, there's no minor structure that's forming. There is this huge candle that is from the non-farm payroll that came out last week, which came out quite negative for the dollar. All right, for the first time in about 3 months, we're seeing a negative employment change. So this huge candle right here is going to make price to stall a bit. We're going to be seeing ranges around this candle. So for me, where I'm going to be interested in buying the dollar index from is when I see price break out of this level right here. Okay, so I'm expecting a quiet beginning of the week. So I would want to see the dollar index break out of this high that I've drawn right here. When I see dollar index break out of this high, then I'll be willing to continue going or trading the dollar index to the upside. So from now, I'll just be quiet on the dollar index and wait for it to break out of that high before I now continue buying it all the way to the upside. Okay, so that is that on the dollar index. Now let's move over to GBP USD so that we can see independent analysis that we can take off it. All right, so we're starting off with GBP USD for the currency pairs. Now looking at what GBP USD has done, we also had a point of interest for a GBP USD sell, and that played out on Friday, but we were not able to enter the trade, seeing how volatile the price action was. Okay, so we're expecting GBP USD to buy into this range, and then we'll start selling it to the downside. Remember, GBP USD is on the downtrend. You can see it's all the way from 7th of March. We've been seeing lower highs and lower highs. I beg your pardon. So we've been seeing that play out: lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Now we've seen a new lower high. We're expecting another lower low to form. So I'm expecting GBP USD to come and take out all these levels, even to this price point of let me adjust this. So I'm expecting GBP USD to trade all the way to 1.21917, 1.21917. That is where I'm expecting GBP USD to sell to. Okay, so when that happens, we're going to be shorting GBP USD all the way to the downside, all the way to that level that we've just drawn right there. Now on the hourly time frame, where we're going to be seeing various entries that we'll be looking out for on GBP USD, we're looking at 4-hour time frame. Now for the 4-hour time frame, also similar to what we drew out on the dollar index, I would want to see the 4-hour time frame break out of this range of Friday. Okay, I want to see 4-hour time frame break out of this Friday's not Friday's low. Yes, Friday's low, I mean. Yeah, I want to see 4-hour time frame break out of Friday's low. Then I'll be willing to short GBP USD afterwards. So for now, I'll be quiet on GBP USD. I want to see my play, and the play is for price to break out of this range. Let me use the path tool. So this is what I want to see on GBP USD: breakout, a return, and then a sell-off to the downside. So this is my expectation on GBP USD. When price breaks out of this range to the downside and gives a return to this Friday's low, I'll be willing to short GBP USD to the downside. For this morning London session, I'm quiet on GBP USD. I'm going to be sitting on my hands because of the things that we stated earlier. So on the 1-hour time frame, we're expecting very similar thing to what we're seeing on the 4-hour time frame. I would rather wait for price to break out of Friday's low, give a retest on Friday's low, and then I'll be selling GBP USD. For now, I'll just be watching GBP USD until I see my my confirmations, which is this, before I sell off GBP USD. Okay, and then we're going to be moving over to Euro USD. Let's start off with the daily time frame. Very similar to what we had on GBP USD, but overall you can see that Euro USD is in a downtrend. You can see how that price broke structure on the daily time frame here, creating a lower low, went back to create a lower high, created a new lower low. Now we're about seeing a lower high being created. We're expecting price to sell off from this level. Now if you can see 50% of this huge fair value gap, we stated this earlier, anytime you see a very big fair value gap, always measure 50% of it. Price is going to go back to at least 50% of it. If it cannot cover the whole fair value gap, you should see at least 50% of that fair value gap. Okay, so let me show you 50% of that. You can see it's right here. This orange line is 50% of this fair value gap. We call it consequent encroachment. You can bother less about the grammar, just know it's 50% of a fair value gap or 50% of a very large order block. So price traded into it, we would have sold, but if we're selling from here, our stop loss would be somewhere around here. Okay, imagine having a stop loss of 77 pips on Euro USD. Okay, so that was going to be for position or swing trading, but for intraday trading, we would want to see confirmation around this level before we start selling. So to look for that confirmation, we're going to be checking it out on the 4-hour time frame and on the 1-hour time frame. Like I said earlier, very similar to what we have on GBP USD. I want to see price break out of the low of Friday's NFP news release. All right, when price breaks out of that low, then I'll be willing to short GBP USD from there. Okay, so when Euro USD, I beg your pardon. When price breaks out of this low and gives a return, I would want to sell Euro USD. And when I'm selling it all the way to the downside. Okay, now this is the level I'm selling Euro USD to, all the way to 1.06200 level. Okay, let's put it at 1.06250 level. So it's a good quarter point to mark. 1.06250 level. That's where I'm selling Euro USD to. So when price breaks below here and comes back here, I'll look for my entry signature, and then I'll sell Euro USD all the way to the downside. For this morning, just like GBP USD, I'm going to be sitting on my hands for Euro USD, waiting for price to break here. You know, like we've always said, trading is 80% waiting and 20% trading. So when you wait for your setup, the moment you now see your setup, you enter, and then you wait for your setup to play out until TP, all right, either TP or SL. So we're going to be waiting, and when we see our entry signatures, we're going to be taking ourselves on GBP USD and Euro USD. Now, some of you will be wondering where we're going to be taking these sales from, or how we're going to be taking these sales. So we have a very premium and exclusive group where we share all our trade markups, our trade setups, our trade signals, where we're entering the trade, where we're exiting, how we are managing the trades in terms of risk to reward. All right, and this group is totally free for anyone who wants to have access to it. Now, the criteria for joining this group is a very short 3-step process. The first is to sign up with our preferred broker using the link that's going to be provided in your chat box. The second is to sign up, fund your account with about $500 all the way to even $20,000, $50,000 if you wish. Now, the final step is to send us a screenshot that you funded your account, and then we're going to get added to this group. From the explanation, you see that we are not charging you anything. When you make a profit, the profit is totally yours. We're not collecting any profit share from you. So do well to be a part of this group so that you can trade alongside all the traders you have here on the floor and also withdraw alongside us. So quickly, we're going to go on a very short break for about 40 seconds. And when we return, we're going to be analyzing XAU USD, which is gold, as relative to other precious metals, copper, silver, and the likes. We're going to also analyze the yen basket as relating to yen-related currency, GBP, JPY, and the likes. Right? And when we are done with that, we're going to be taking questions, we're going to be taking commentaries, and we'll call it a day. Until we return from the break, sit tight and enjoy the rest of the top-down analysis for today.
Morning to you all. Welcome back to the Market Color, brought to you by the Value Flow Trading team. And it's great having everyone on board once again. So this morning we'll be going into the analysis of the precious metal. And as we all know that this Market Color is brought to you by our preferred broker, Okta. And all we need you to do is, in the chat box, you're going to see the link to register your account with them, and also join the TDA Plus, where we share our markups, and you can follow it up from there. Right, let's go to the analysis for the week. On the precious metal, on the weekly time frame, we can still see that the overall trend still remains bullish. However, if we go to the lower time frame, then we see what begins to happen there, because we know that whatsoever we are seeing on the higher time frame, the lower time frame comes together to form what we are going to see on the higher time frame, even though the higher time frame controls that which goes on the lower time frame. Now, on the daily time frame, if you look at it very well, what we're seeing on the precious metal is it already breaks structure to the downside, and you can see it here. This is the low, and you can see candles closing below the support level. Now, this is a very key indication to us. We are using our ball strategy. You can see this is a shoulder here. This is the shoulder here. And inside the shoulder, we have a fair value gap. This is the fair value gap inside here. You can see it. You can see the fair value gap there. And at the same time, we've already seen the forceful break of this shoulder to the downside. Then price, we expect it to rally all the way into this place. This is what we are expecting for the precious metal in a nutshell. Price rally into this zone. Then we expect it to start coming back down, knowing fully well. And from what CJ analyzed for the DSY, you know, we're expecting that level of range in that particular zone. And if that is going to happen on DSY, then we expect the precious metal to also, you know, push a little bit higher into this our POI. And the moment DSY begins to rally to the upside, then we can see the precious metal, you know, tank all the way to the downside. And where are we expecting it to get to? This is the liquidity. There's liquidity below here. So we're expecting price to come all the way into this low here. It is going to get there, the 21. You get, this is the zone we're expecting it to get to, or this particular flip zone here. You can see this is a level here where we're expected to get to. When price gets here, having a fair value gap inside here, then we can see some level of reaction before it begins to pull all the way to the upside. But knowing fully well that on the weekly time frame, price is still very much bullish. And even look at this particular zone on the weekly time frame. We have another block here, you know, sitting right at that level of liquidity we mark from the daily time frame. And that is what we're expecting the precious metal to do in the course of this week. So to the lower time frame, let's see if we are going to see any trade for the day on the lower time frame. Now on the lower time frame, if you are looking to, you know, what we are seeing on the lower time frame is we want to look for opportunity to buy all the way to our POI here. And if you see it, look at it very well, you're going to see, yes, there is a level here where we see price come to sweep all this low. If price could clear this particular high and pull back before getting to this level, our POI, then we'll be willing to long it at this particular level, and this becomes our new shoulder. You see it now, this becomes our new shoulder right from this week here. So price may just come all the way, clear this low here, tap into this week, or even come all the way to this level here. Then we can easily long it to this POI at the top here. Now, if you look, let's take a look more at the 15-minute time frame, knowing that that will be the barest minimum we can look at currently. Now, on the 15-minute time frame, if you want to see, okay, where is our levels to, you know, either buy, that's we are looking for opportunity to buy. Where is our level to buy the market? We are going to see it's still the same place we are looking at in this particular level here is an in structure. So this zone here, when price gets to this zone here, then we can easily long it all the way back up, knowing fully well that price should clear this particular top. If it clears this top and pull back, comes all the way back again, then this will be our POI to long it to the top once again for the week. And that is for the precious metal. Now let's quickly go to the yen basket. The yen basket, as we've analyzed last week, that is a bullish one on last week. Last week, yen was very bullish all the way to the upside. You can see right from the opening of the week, which is on Monday. This is the Monday candlestick. All the way to the close of the week, the yen was fully bullish. And you'll see that on the weekly time frame that we have a very big candle there, the bullish one. However, there is still some level where we expect the yen basket to come into. Now, you know, on Friday, we drew this trend line to the downside that we expect when price gets to this trend line here, there should be some level of reaction all the way to the downside again. Where this is a particular zone where it may want to react to and continue its move all the way to the top, knowing fully well that we've been expecting this long on the yen basket for quite some days now. Now, if price pull back all the way into this zone and react from this level, where is it going to? We are expecting it to come all the way to, we are already seeing some level of shoulder pattern at this zone. This is it here. You can see the shoulder pattern there. Now, this is it. You see the shoulder pattern, you see the sweep, you see the forceful break to the downside. So if it breaks out of this trend line and the candle closes above this trend line, then we expect it to come all the way to this zone. And when price gets to this zone, then we are expecting it to pull back a bit before it continues uptrend again. So that is what we are looking out for on the yen basket. And if that is happening on the yen basket, we should be, the yen correlated pairs. Let's quickly look at GJ for that happening too. Now on GJ, you can see GJ has been maintaining its own trend. Remember on Friday, we say that we are expecting GJ to tank all the way into this trend line here, as we are expecting yen basket to rally into its own trend line. So we expect GJ to also tank into this trend line here, and that is what is happening here. Although it did not touch the trend line, however, it's already pulling back all the way to the upside. But if you look at it very well, we've not seen a clear break of structure on GJ. It's still very much bullish to the upside on the daily time frame. Now, if you look at it on the 4-hour time frame, I'm going to see that on the 4-hour time frame, we've seen a clear break. This is a level here that has been broken. You can see the support level broken to the downside. So all we are expecting now is, as it's going to rally up here, there may be a kind of, some level of reaction at this particular split zone here, as you can see. There may be some level of reaction at this particular flip zone here. And when price gets there, it may want to come into, you can see some fair value gap at the top here. So price may want to tap into those zones before it reverses back again, knowing fully well that what we are anticipating on the yen basket is a long for the week. All right, so that is what we are seeing on the Great British Pound and JPY. Now, if you look at it on the 1-hour time frame, what is there any structure for the 1-hour time frame? It looks very much dicey here on the 1-hour time frame, because all we are seeing is price has not really come to play liquidity here. Instead, it's building more liquidity and it's pushing all the way to the upside. And that is giving us like some level of pre-information that when price gets to this zone and it begins to sell, its target will be all this liquidity right downside and also this one. So we should look out for that as we trade this week. So that is going to be all for the yen basket, and at the same time for the precious metal. If there's any question, please type in the chat box and let's quickly attend to it. So as we wait for your question, we want to inform you that this month we are coming to Abuja. The Traders Bootcamp is very, very, we've been preparing very much for it, and we expect you to be there. The Traders Bootcamp happening live in Abuja. So we want you to be there. Make sure you are there. Prepare. If you are going to take leave from work, this is not just an event where we talk about all this aspire to perspire or motivation kind of thing. No, we are teaching you purely technical how to trade, purely how to trade. That's what we are teaching you. So you should be there. Make sure you are there. We are going to teach you some strategies also on bot management. And at the same time, you're still going to have access to, chat with some of the traders on the floor, and also boss himself with their live and some other people. So it's going to be a very great one. It's one event for 6 sessions for 2 days. So make sure you are there. If you are going to travel down, try and make sure you do it. You are going to see the registration link for the event in the chat box. Is going to be there. Registration link, the event will be in the chat box. So kindly look at it and make sure you register. It is free. There's no, you are not paying for the event. It's very free, but make sure you register. Registration is compulsory. If you don't register and you come, well, you'll see there. Okay, Okwemiko said Lagos. Don't worry, coming soon. All right, but try and attend this in Abuja. There's nothing bad there. If you fly down to Abuja, you truly will get value for it. I tell you, you truly will get value for it. Make sure you are there. Someone said, so we are looking to long GJ. Yes, to that our POI before we shut it all the way down to clear liquidity below. Yes. So make sure you are there in Abuja. We want to see you, and make sure you share this flyer and invite a lot of people, your friends, everybody, invite them. The link to the registration for the event will be in the chat box. You get it right now, right away. It's there. That's it there in the chat box. Make sure you register, and we would be expecting you. We would be expecting you. At the same time, just let me tell you, in case if you are here, you've been following the top-down analysis, and you want to, there will be some giveaway there, and part of it is that we are going to have giveaway for people who have been following our top-down analysis who would be attending the event. So let us know. Make sure you register and let us know you are going to, and see how we are going to do the giveaway process there in Abuja. And one of the ways you are going to do that, we are going to make the selection, is when you share the flyer to people, let us know how many people have you shared it to, as much as possible. People you are going to invite, let us know as you are registering, share with as many as possible. So we would be expecting you, your friends, your colleagues, every trader you know. This is an event that they don't truly want to miss. So we'll be expecting you there. And this is going to be the end of today's top-down analysis, market color, till we meet again in the New York session. The New York session starts by 3 p.m. So make sure you are there. Share the link with as many as possible. See you there. Cheers and God bless.